Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, 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 wow. Welcome to the working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage.
Okay, you're listening to The Working Lunch here on WCUW 91.3 FM. I'm Jeff Turgeon, host of the show here with my co-host,
Sean McGauley, co-host.
Welcome to another edition to the show. Again, lots going on. We also survived the government shutdown. Right? We survived the government shutdown. It's good to see that they had reopened, as well as making at least a short-term deal here on the debt ceiling. So it's good to see that they were able to get that done. Otherwise, the public resources that we oversee were fast drawing to a close. So, including the services offered through the Career Center, without the government reopening it, eventually we would have had to close that Career Center for folks looking to get information and services around finding a new job.
So good news.
So we do have a couple guests here, and I know that we actually have them in studio already. So why don't we go? Our first guest we're going to bring on board is actually going to be Paul Linsky from the Blackstone Valley Education Foundation. Why don't you come on over, Paul, and get situated here with us? How are you, sir?
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me.
Glad to have you on. This is great. We're very pleased. Now, I should mention that Bob and I are a producer extraordinaire, directly involved with a program we call School to Career Connecting Activities, and it's a state-funded program which helps to connect young people in school youth, high school students with internships and work readiness activities. Bob, I know you've been actively involved with the project for a number of years now, and
yes, it's really to connect the students with what they're learning in school with the real world place of work out there. And Blackstone Valley Education Foundation has been involved with that, a very strong partner of ours for many, many years, and it has some good things going on down there in the valley.
And I know that, so we should mention we're partnered with the Education Foundation as well as Worcester Public Schools and several other and you work with several school districts down in the Blackstone Valley as part of that coordinating function for us as part of the program.
Yeah. Actually, Jeff, I think we've got about 11 school districts now that stretch basically from the city of Worcester to the Rhode Island border.
Oh, that's great. That's
actively
great.
Involved.
That's super. And now let's just talk a little bit about some of the goals of the program. So, as Bob and I had mentioned, really to connect young people. I mean, hence the name Connecting Activities and School to Career. But what's some of the other kind of activities that happen as part of that?
Well, the great thing about Connecting Activities and working with Central Mass Workforce Investment Board on this is it's very, very rare when we've got grant money coming in that really satisfies three completely separate audiences and does it equally well. We're providing a very strong service to the students who are learning a lot about potential careers, but more importantly, relevance to their school education. What skills do they need in order to get into the job they're thinking about? Mm-hmm. We're helping the school districts and parents because we're helping the counselors gain professional development services so they have a much clearer understanding of resources locally. Mm-hmm. And then
we're helping their student success as well.
And student success. And we're helping the businesses. Mm-hmm. They're active partners with us because they know that we are working with their workforce needs of the future, and they're active in helping us.
And one of the things that the program does really well is stretch the dollar that's invested into it. So here at Central Mass, we receive, I think, overall just over $100,000. But with that, we've been able to kind of parlay that, if you will, into over $1 million in youth wages paid through, whether it's part-time work or internships, paid internships by private industry partners.
So talk about a return on investment there.
Oh, it's a great return. And additionally, we have income coming in to help support our Connecting Activities programs from the local businesses.
Oh, that's
so in
great.
addition to the actual employment, we're getting grants, contributions, and sponsorships from businesses to further enhance the Connecting Activities reach.
Oh, that's super. I know you do a lot of good activities down there, and one of them is a new initiative this year called. It's part of the Amp It Up program. It's so it's an Amp It Up is a new initiative that's targeting advanced manufacturing sector. Can you tell us, a little bit about why Massachusetts is doing that new initiative?
Sure. Mass Development's been very proactive in trying to help us get the message out to schools. There's I've been in higher education all my life. There's a misunderstood concept out there, especially by parents and grandparents, that the manufacturing sector in Massachusetts is dying, and it's not. It's created a very strong niche within the marketplace, both nationally and internationally. We've got some very vibrant corporations. The whole skills level has changed. I mean, the old factory days are gone. And this is helping us really get that message clearly out to the educators and to parents, those who work with the
and
students.
certainly central Massachusetts in general, in the Blackstone Valley in particular, has a strong manufacturing history, rich history, and a strong base. So it's good to see that there's still a vibrant core of manufacturers out there, and that they're willing to partner and get involved with programs like Amp It Up and like Connecting Activities and with work with young people. Now, I understand you're also, the foundation is partnering with Workforce Central on and businesses to host a major new jobs event that's going to be happening in December, which will target high school students. Sounds pretty unique. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it, considering the idea didn't exist 2 weeks ago. And publicly thanking Bob Zukowski here for helping us with this to basically devise the program. I just came from a meeting with the superintendent of schools and principal at Sutton.
Okay.
And they're very excited about the program, and they're the first to hear
So
about it, actually.
tell us a little bit about the program. What
we're going to do is we're going to be busing students in from all of the member school districts to a central location. We haven't decided on the site yet, but there's a very good chance it's going to be Muck Regional High School in Mendon. And I'll be going there tomorrow to check facility. And we're going to have Workforce Central hopefully help us with workshop preparation for students with a concurrent track for the counselors and parents, so that attendees will learn about how to enter the job market, how to do resumes, how to interview, basic work ethic and skills requirements for entry-level positions, not just in manufacturing, although that will be the focus, but in industry in general. And we're also going to have a mini fair set up so that some of the local manufacturers and businesses can actually meet with these students and hopefully exchange some information about upcoming part-time or full-time employment.
And that's really the point of the program in general, and this activity, just to give young people and their parents, that real world understanding, and because these days with MCAS and other things that are happening in the schools, they're so busy with that.
Right.
With those activities, it's kind of hard to squeeze in this work readiness stuff, and they're so busy with the academics and the other student support roles they play. They don't necessarily have work ready experts, if you will, on hand. So to partner up and to kind of get the most out of having Workforce Central come in. That's our local career centers here in Central Mass. So staff from there coming in to work with the young people about it. But then also having business folks themselves come in and talk about their needs and talk about what it takes to succeed, I think is just a great message for young people to hear directly.
I think you've hit the nail right on the head. Susan Hitchcock, who is the superintendent of schools in Millbury, put it very succinctly for me. She says, the foundation with your Connecting Activities funds and your other programs can do two things that we can't do with the schools. One, you can help us better collaborate with businesses and community than we can do on our own. And secondly, you can help us do collaborative activities with the other schools in the area that we can't possibly afford to organize on our own.
Now, we'd mentioned before that the budget for School to Career Connect activities is about $100,000, and that's a public investment from the state. And then on top of it, the mass development, I think the Amp It Up is around $10,000. I have that right?
Yes,
so
correct.
again, we're not talking, huge
Bucks.
sums of money, but certainly for the number of young people that they're going to impact, it's a great return on investment there. Can you tell us a little bit about why it's so critical that we have public investment in programs like this and have investment from business as well?
I think the key is the term you've been using, and that's the leveraging. for very small dollars, which these grants are in the scheme of public education, we can leverage a lot of private money additionally and use some of the current public funding for education to really get a 3 or 4 or 5 or 10% return on the dollar.
Yeah.
And this would not be done without the ability to connect some of these loose dots out there.
And certainly, that's just kind of the direct impact that you're talking about with that return. And when you look at the bigger picture and the longer, the bigger scheme of things, the research shows that young people that have work experience are more successful in school. So their retention rate and their graduation rates are stronger, but then also their employment rate and their attainment rate of credentialing after high school is also much stronger too.
Yes.
So it really gives them. So you're talking about investing in our future.
Right.
This is a program that really helps connect. I think Dr. Z on the board over here kind of said it earlier. I mean, it really does help connect the real world and what's happening out there with the relevance to what's happening in the classroom, which sometimes without that connection, young people can get maybe a little bit. Yeah.
And I've been speaking to groups of students all over the state for years, and I'm pretty blunt with the message.
Yeah.
I say if you're going to talk about careers, 2 things got to be true. 1, you got to like the job, and 2, you got to be good at it. If you don't like it, you're going to quit. If you're not good at it, you're going to get fired. I mean, it's blank. And kids understand direct language like that. And the ability to interact and find out more in advance of deciding on careers is a huge plus for them as far as going down the road.
So obviously, big benefit to our local youth and to the businesses themselves. It's a kind of a win-win for everybody here. How can business people get involved? People out there in the listening audience, how can they get involved with the program?
We have businesses throughout the Blackstone Valley involved in multiple ways. Many of them are willing to provide speakers, career speakers, on how to get into certain professions and the skills required and what motivated them, to get in at that point. We had a major forum in April where the Lieutenant Governor chaired it. We brought 130 educators together at Pleasant Valley Country Club to discuss how to enhance these services additionally in the schools. And one of the things that came out is we need a much more organized approach to career planning and speakers at the school level. So we're going to be approaching the Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce and local businesses to create a list of substantial number of people who are willing to speak in the schools on their topics. So one thing they can get involved by actually talking about what they do.
So it's not just businesses hiring people per se. It's also them getting involved as a guest speaker.
Absolutely.
And I love the idea of kind of like a speakers bureau, if you will, that schools
We're
can
gonna
draw from
formalize
to
it.
have that list.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
And of course, businesses provide sponsorships for the activities. I mean, the program I'm talking about, we'll be looking for businesses to help sponsor and offset some of the costs of that program.
Yeah.
So it's great PR for the businesses, but it also gets their people more involved with the schools and the community.
Great. Well, thank you for being on the show. As we kind of fully enter the fall semester here with schools, wish you the best of luck with the program and moving forward. So thanks again, Paul, for being on.
And thanks, Jeff, for all your help with everything we're doing down there.
Okay, Dr. Z, I think we're going to take a short public service break.
Yes, we
While
will.
we switch over.
And we'll do that right now. We're right here. We're changing seats a little bit, and we thank Paul Linsky from the Blackstone Valley Education Foundation for joining us this morning, or I should say this afternoon, during our working lunch, and we appreciate Paul's support. And now back to Jeff and Sean and their guests.
Company, yes.
And their guests.
Well,
How you doing?
thank you, sir. So we have with us another guest here. We have Stuart Loosemore from the Worcester Chamber of Commerce. Stuart, how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Jeff?
Good. So the show, of course, is The Working Lunch. And so we're trying to figure out if we can have you as a regular guest, how we need to create some sort of segment theme, like a portion of stew with your lunch.
You want to retain listeners, correct? I mean, if you want to keep listeners.
Well, we're just thinking, it's not every day, you have a lunch show.
Stew on a regular basis.
Well, nice warm bowl of stew here. That goes a long way. Yes.
Although I do enjoy, Dr. Z. Does that make you, MC Turge? And is it, Mixmaster Magali over there?
Well, it is Mixmaster. Yeah, MCG in the house. That's a good one. See, we need to. Yeah. So tell us what's happening. What's going on at the chamber? Why don't we start with that? What's happening over there?
everything that we're doing is centered around our new mantra that's been rolled out since the former Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray took leadership of the chamber, and it's recruit, retain, and incubate. Everything is centered around recruit, retain, and incubate. I think it's been drilled into my head so much. I say it as I'm falling asleep, and I find myself saying it waking up in the morning. Eyes half open, recruit, retain, incubate, recruit, retain.
So the incubate part, I think, is probably one of the ones that is a fairly new role for the chamber to be playing, and it really ties into the economic development of the region. Do I have that right?
Yes, the idea of harnessing the potential that we have here, of college students, but also just entrepreneurs who are trying to start out on their own, and providing the ability for them to take an idea, take a concept, and put together a business plan and move forward with it and see if they can make a go, and allowing them the ability to do that if that's what they're looking to do. And
am I correct that that the chambers actually help create a fund that entrepreneurs can tap into or can apply to? Is that
we're currently doing an economic development advancement fund.
Okay.
We haven't set up any sort of mechanism to tap into that fund yet. Right now, we're on a goal of about 1.2 million over the course of 2 years.
Wow.
To raise for kind of strategic economic development ideas and kind of one-time spending. So I don't know if it's been evolved into kind of a fund for entrepreneurs, but that could come into economic development ideas and one-time funding sources. I can't say that's not a part of it, but that's certainly not.
So it's not quite ready as part of the mix right yet. So now there's also the chambers announced a manufacturing leadership roundtable. Is that?
That is retain.
There you go.
I have a law degree and I work in government, so I can connect almost anything you talk about the chamber doing to one of those three.
One of those three ones, yeah.
You could almost maybe make it a game at the end of all this. The idea of we have a manufacturing base here. The roundtable is going to be pulling those manufacturers together. Not just Worcester, we've extended the invitation to all of our manufacturer members of the Worcester Regional Chamber, as well as our 5 affiliate chambers. The Auburn Chamber, the Webster Dudley Oxford Chamber, the newly renamed Wachusett Area Chamber, formerly the Holden Area Chamber, the Blackstone Valley Chamber, and the Central Mass South Chamber.
So we just had Paul Linsky on from the Education Foundation, Blackstone Valley Education Foundation. They spun off from. They actually were started in partnership with the Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce. And as he spoke about, there is a vibrant community of manufacturers, down in the Blackstone Valley area. So it's great to hear them being kind of included in the mix here. And so what the roundtable itself would look at policy issues that relate to manufacturers and shared concerns, areas of
policy issues, shared concern, shared issues. What obstacles are you running into that the chamber can be an advocate for you on? What are you seeing maybe training wise that we can create